My first thought going to the hospital was, is he going to survive?
And we begin tonight at 6 o'clock with an Eyewitness News exclusive. Her husband was nearly killed at the hands of a man who police are calling a career criminal.
Tonight, the wife of Farmington police officer James O'Donnell is speaking exclusively to Channel 3 chief investigative reporter Matthew Campbell.
And he is giving us a raw look at how this tragedy has changed lives.
Well, Mark and Aaron, last week, Farmington police released this dash cam footage. These tragedies have happened before, but it is rare to learn about the impact on the human lives captured in this grainy black and white video. Tonight, in vivid detail, we learn how lives have been altered and the new purpose one wife has found.
Lieutenant McKenzie yelled police, and I said, I see that. I said, my husband's a cop.
In the overnight hours on September 20th, Chris O'Donnell was startled awake.
He said, Chris, James has been in an accident. James got hit by a car. I almost fainted to the floor.
Police told her that her husband, James O'Donnell, a 3-year veteran of the Farmington Police Department, was responding to a call for stolen catalytic converters on Talcott Forest Road. Through dashcam footage released last week, we see the suspect in the white car get boxed in by parked cars, trees, and Officer O'Donnell's cruiser. It's a video that haunts his wife.
I needed to see every second of it, and I watched it over and over.
Here's what she saw.
That car looked trapped.
She's referring to this white car. Police say it was stolen, and they say 32-year-old Pedro Acevedo was behind the wheel. It's a situation, Chris tells us, that would have any officer questioning whether the use of deadly force would be appropriate. You can see Officer O'Donnell holds up his weapon, but doesn't shoot.
He hesitated.
Police say Acevedo got away by driving into O'Donnell.
I wanted to see if there was any reaction from the guy who did this. Did he stop maybe and hesitate before he left?
As you can see in this dashcam video, there appears to be no hesitation. The car speeds off with police trailing behind. Another officer and an eyewitness with medical training rushed to O'Donnell's side. When Chris speaks with her husband now, she shies away from getting into the details of that night.
I am not qualified at psychology. I don't know what the long-term effects will be if we're discussing him being hit. I don't know what he remembers specifically.
She does believe James didn't pull the trigger because he didn't want to face a potential lawsuit. That's now a possibility for officers in Connecticut. It's one part of the Police Accountability Act that was passed last year in the wake of George Floyd's death.
I would bet my life that my husband did not shoot because we would have lost our house.
Instead, Officer O'Donnell is spending his days recovering at Gaylord Hospital in Wallingford, trying to regain his ability to move the lower part of his body.
Had too many fractures in the pelvis and the hip region for them to even count. The surgeon used the word smashed.
Chris visits her husband there as often as she can. Right now, she has to prepare their 2 kids, 2-year-old Andrew and 6-month-old Saoirse, for their father's new reality. It includes a chairlift to get up the stairs.
Getting ramps installed.
Chris says James has a rod through his hips and has no lower body strength. He's slowly starting the process of rehabilitation.
He cannot have any pressure on the tailbone.
While the 32-year-old father of 2 will be in rehab for at least another month, doctors do believe that one day O'Donnell will walk again. The kids don't know what's happened and haven't seen their father since this tragedy.
Their dad's trying to make things safe for society. Farmington should be in an uproar over this happening.
Chris believes if not for her relentless fight to raise awareness on social media, her husband's near-death experience would be forgotten.
While this situation is impacting me personally, I believe this situation impacts the public even more than it impacts me.
And that statement may resonate more knowing that the suspect in this case was convicted on assault charges 42 days before allegedly using that stolen car to strike Officer O'Donnell. Coming up at 11 tonight, Chris wants to dissect the footage from that night. She puts us in her husband's shoes and explains why she feels that if he did shoot, her husband would be facing a lawsuit. More on that and her quest to change laws at 11. But for now, Matthew Campbell, Channel 13 News.